everyone, and welcome to this explainer on Claude Code version 2.1.210. I am absolutely thrilled to walk you through exactly what is under the hood in this latest update. Today, we're going to set a pretty fast pace for a highly focused, technical deep dive. If you're a developer using Claude, you really need to understand this release. We're breaking down exactly what's changed, why it actually matters, and how it's going to directly impact your daily dev environment. So let's get into it. You know, whenever a new version drops, we all have this expectation of flashy new features, right? We want a brand new interface or some crazy revolutionary new capability. But the reality of version 2.1.210 is far more practical and, honestly, far more crucial. The absolute best updates aren't always the shiny ones that make all the headlines on social media. More often than not, they're the quiet workflow savers. You know, those essential maintenance fixes that step in and stop invisible, silent failures from just totally ruining your day. So I really want to ask you, what actually happens when an AI agent gets a tune-up like this? Have you ever had a fully automated process just completely stall out on you for absolutely no reason at all? Or maybe you've hit one of those invisible bugs that you just couldn't trace, and you're sitting there frantically searching for the problem while your whole workflow is totally stalled. Yeah, we have all been there, and it is incredibly frustrating. Well, this update is specifically designed to target and eliminate those exact pain points, giving the engine a major tune-up so your agent runs predictably every single time. Okay, let's quickly map out our roadmap for today. We'll start with the value of polish, then move into visible dashboard upgrades, followed by fixing the engine, and we'll wrap up with security and quality tweaks. Starting off with Section 1, the value of polish. Look, for any developer, a reliable workflow is literally worth its weight in gold. And the entire focus of Claude Code 2.1.210 is zeroed in on that reliability. There's actually no single massive headline feature in this release. None. Instead, the whole value proposition is about fixing a huge list of quiet failure modes. We're talking about those insidious little disruptions that don't necessarily crash your whole system, but they absolutely destroy your real-world productivity. By tackling these head-on, this maintenance release means that when you ask Claude to do a job, it actually gets the job done, and you don't have to sit there babysitting the terminal. Moving right along to Section 2, visible dashboard upgrades. Okay, check this out. This new ticking clock feature is a lifesaver. Before this update, if a tool call was taking a really long time, the UI just sat there. A completely normal but maybe slightly slow tool call looked exactly the same as a tool call that had completely frozen and died in the background. It caused so much unnecessary anxiety, am I right? Well, now, when a tool call takes a minute, you get a live running clock. And honestly, just seeing those seconds tick by gives you this massive wave of relief because you immediately know the system is still actively working and hasn't just ghosted you. Now pay close attention to this next change because you might actually need to make a small tweak on your end. If your current Claude Code config relies on the older permission rule syntax, so things like write, notebook edit, or glob, the system is going to flag that now. Right at startup, the tool will actively warn you if you're using those deprecated rules, and it'll prompt you to swap to the much cleaner, newer syntax, which basically just simplifies everything down to edit or read. It's a super quick fix on your end, but it's really great that the tool is actively looking out for you to keep your configs perfectly up to standard.
All right, let's pop the hood for Section 3. Fixing the engine.
Let's run through these rapid fire because the backend repairs here are actually fascinating. First up, they fixed a pretty serious work tree isolation breach. Basically, subagents could accidentally run git mutating commands against your main repository instead of staying locked in their own sandbox. Obviously a terrifying prospect for any developer, but that is fully resolved now with fixed work tree targeting. Next, unattended session stalling. When a hook callback timed out, the system was accidentally telling the model that the user rejected it. This essentially caused automated sessions to just freeze, waiting forever for human input that was literally never going to come. Thankfully, fixed. They also tackled Git worktree lock buildup. When background sessions got killed, they were leaving these permanent orphaned lock files scattered everywhere. Now there's a really smart periodic cleanup sweep that just finds those orphan locks and clears them out automatically. And finally, if you've ever gotten one of those annoying job not found errors when trying to jump into a session, the Claude attach command now properly waits for the daemon to settle before completing. It even cleanly handles any terminal resizes that happen while it's attaching. Here's another really crucial fix involving the ultra code keyword. Before this update, this keyword opt-in was accidentally misfiring. It was triggering on input that wasn't even coming from a human.
We're talking automated webhook payloads or relayed pull request comments. Just imagine the absolute chaos of having your agent suddenly wake up and activate because of a random automated payload. The fix here is super straightforward, but totally vital. The keyword now strictly requires human-originated input to fire, so your automated workflows stay completely predictable.
Okay, and then we have this one, which is just kind of a bizarre bug. Some of you might have noticed these very specific characters, an E with a grave accent and an E with an acute accent just randomly showing up in your files. Well, it turns out that opening a file in an external editor from Claude Code was occasionally injecting these stray characters around your pasted text. They were actually paste markers from the UI layer that were literally leaking out into the external editors. It is exactly the kind of deeply weird software bug that drives you completely crazy until it's patched, but you can relax, those leaky markers are officially gone.
And that brings us to our final stop, Section 4, Security and Quality Tweaks.
First and foremost here, the agent tool has been significantly hardened against indirect prompt injection. The best way to think about indirect prompt injection is like a highly dangerous game of telephone. This hardening specifically secures the system against a scenario where content read by a lower-level subagent could accidentally pass manipulated, malicious instructions up the chain, which could then influence the parent agent's behavior in ways you absolutely did not intend. This is a massive security win, ensuring the chain of command stays completely uncompromised.
And this list brilliantly illustrates how a few small tweaks can just totally transform your daily workflow. First, if a memory write tries to push your memory.md index past its read limit, you don't just lose data silently anymore, you get an explicit, clear error. Huge lifesaver. Second, for accessibility, screen reader mode now audibly announces permission mode changes when you cycle through them using Shift+Tab. Third, if you look down in the footer, you can now instantly see exactly how many background agents are actively waiting on your input, and it even gives you a quick color flash whenever that count changes. And lastly, the auto mode permission classifier now cleanly defaults to Sonnet 5 for external sessions.
So, after looking at all these incredible under-the-hood fixes, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question. How many quiet failures are hiding in your workflow right now? I mean, how much time are you losing every week to misfiring keywords, stalled automated sessions, or deprecated syntaxes? This explainer showed you exactly how Claude Code 2.1.210 eliminates those silent productivity killers. If you want to completely master your setup and get a really deep, plain English explanation of how all these features fit together, I highly, highly recommend checking out claudemaster.net. It is absolutely the best independent guide out there for mastering Claude. So go get your tools updated, clear out those quiet failures, and take back your productivity.